Next up, we got what is the European Union? The EU. Now, we've reacted to a lot of things about Europe so far, all right? But we still have to cover the basics, all right? We can't get too caught up in all the other videos because it is a lot of content to react to, but we can't get too caught up in it, all right? We still have to start with the basics because I'm still trying to learn about Europe. I'm still trying to learn, okay? So let's take it all the way back. All right, let's refresh our memory, okay? I was getting a little carried away. We finna start going back to the simple stuff so we can start with that foundation of my learning about the European Union and the Europe, okay? Then go from there, all right? Eventually, we're going to start reacting to specific countries and specific cities, stuff like that. But we have to understand the bigger picture first. Then we can go specific. All right? So, what is the European Union? Hit the like button, that sub button.
Did you know the EU is the second biggest democracy in the world, representing 450 million people? This video will explore what the European Union is, what it does, and who controls it. So what is the European Union? The European Union is a political and economic union of 27 European countries with common goals and values. It is a unique entity as it is neither a country nor a federation, but rather a supranational organization that exercises some of the
supra organization. Bro, I can't even say that. Okay, let's see real quick. Supranational organization? Zational? I don't know how to spell them. Are alliances of three or more states that cede some sovereignty to a higher authority to achieve common economic, political, or military goals. Okay. So they are combining with all the countries to be able to achieve higher authority and common economic, political, and military goals. So everybody coming to an agreement that, okay, we all know that we're close. This is Europe. So we need some type of government. All right. I wouldn't even call it a government, though. But they need some type of government to be able to control all of these countries. They have a union as well that empower the directly exercise some of the powers and functions of otherwise rare states. A supranational organization involves a greater transfer of limitation of state sovereignty than other kinds of international organizations. The EU has been described as a paradigmatic case of supranational organization, as it has deep political, economic, and social integration, which includes common market, joint border control, Supreme Court, and regular popular elections. Okay.
Powers typically associated with national governments. For those unaware, supranational refers to a level of organization that is above and transcends national governments. What this means is that the EU's member states have transferred some of their sovereignty to the EU in order to jointly address issues such as trade, security, and social policy.
So we gotta look up what sovereignty means. That's what we gotta look up. Absolute independent authority of a state to govern itself, manage its territory, and make laws without external interference. Key types include internal control within borders, external independence from foreign powers, and popular authority derived from the people. Okay. It is exercised through governmental institutions yet face limitations from international law, human rights obligations, and treaties.
Sovereignty.
Yep. Supreme power or authority. He says some of the countries gave up their sovereignty, aka their supreme power or authority. They gave up their sovereignty they gave it to the European Union. So they gave their power to the European Union so the European Union can first have more power and more people respect it, and more people can do the same. Like other countries can give their sovereignty to also the European Union. So this is a big thing. If a big country gives their sovereignty to the European Union, then other countries will follow. You know what I'm saying? Because if the biggest one do it, and the one that everybody respect does it, everybody else gonna follow, right? People are followers. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. So now the European Union has more power, all right, and it helps trade, security, social policy. There we go. We're learning. I told you we're gonna learn on this channel. All right, we're gonna learn. All right.
Security and social policy. The EU comprises of 7 main institutions, including the European Council, the Council of the European Union, the European Commission, the Court of Justice of the European Union, the European Central Bank, the Court of Auditors, and finally, the European Parliament. For those interested in learning more, we have separate videos that will provide detailed explanations of each of these institutions. So subscribe to the channel if you are interested.
All right, let me know in the comments if y'all want that video. I ain't know my audio was this loud this whole time. My bad. Let me turn this audio down.
The European Union actually do. The EU has a lot of functions, but there are 3 main ones. Firstly, the EU...
there you go.
So subscribe to the channel if you are interested. So what does the European Union actually do? The EU has a lot of functions, but there are 3 main ones. Firstly, the EU promotes economic integration. The EU operates a single market, which allows goods, services, capital, and people to move freely across national borders.
Right.
For example, a company based in Germany can sell its products to customers in France without facing any barriers to trade. The EU also negotiates trade agreements.
And we also know about the tariffs. Told y'all we learning. Remember, at a point in time, I didn't know what none of these words meant. All right? I didn't know what none of these words meant. Y'all are literally watching me. And this is why I like being a YouTuber, okay? Because YouTube is literally a documentation of you doing something, all right? So I can sit up here every single day and post a video about me learning about something, and then once I get really good at this thing, you can go back and see how dumb I was, right? You can see how trash I was at this thing, and then watch the journey to me getting to that point. So this is why I like YouTube, because when I first got on here, I didn't know nothing, bro, and it's all genuine. It's still genuine. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm genuinely learning, and now I can remember words and understand words and definitions and use them in sentences now, and understand when they talk about it, I can understand it now and put 2 and 2 together and really understand the full picture. You feel me? So anyways, going back to tariffs. So the EU also has control on the tariffs as well. So that's where like the tariff, or that's where the EU comes into play, because tariffs are the taxes that the shipping companies, or the shipping, when you try to ship goods from one country to another country, the taxes to be able to do that is called tariffs. So the EU will control the tariffs, because one country might try to make their tariffs too high for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Kind of sound like America, right? If America was in the EU, that's something that we would do. Make our tariffs extremely high, so you have to pay us more to import your goods into our country. That sounds like some America does, and we probably already do that, by the way. But the EU can come into play and stop that. All right, it can stop that. He might say something about tariffs in this video.
France, without facing any barriers to trade. The EU also negotiates trade agreements with other countries on behalf of its member states. For example, the EU has signed trade agreements with countries such as Japan,
wow,
Canada,
wow,
and South Korea.
Wow.
Secondly,
Nice.
The EU develops and implements common policies in various areas, such as agriculture, environment, energy, and transport. For example, the EU has a common agricultural policy, which provides financial support to farmers and helps to ensure a stable supply of food across the EU.
Okay.
Or the EU's common energy policy, which aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and ensure a secure supply of energy.
Now, that's what we need to look up. We need to look up the greenhouse gases, bro, because I always hear about this, but I never know what it means. Greenhouse gases are components of the atmosphere. Oh, we looked this up in another video. Now I think about it. Both natural and anthropogenic that absorb and trap infrared radiation heat emitted from the Earth's surface. Are a category of gases that absorb the heat energy emitted from the planet's surface, and they remain in the Earth's atmosphere for a long time, from decades to centuries. I think we reacted to this in the Bill Wirtz video. The entire history of the world, I guess. Yeah, I think that's when we react to this. Because I remember looking up, what does atmosphere mean? I remember that. Though they make up only a small portion of atmosphere, less than 1% of all air molecules, greenhouse gases absorb a significant amount of heat energy and re-radiate some of it back toward the surface. They're called greenhouse gases because they trap heat near the Earth's surface in a manner somewhat similar to how a greenhouse allows the sun rays. Oh, and then holds them. Oh, that's what. So that's why they have the greenhouses. That's what the greenhouse does. I always wondered what a greenhouse was. Greenhouse allows the sun rays and then allows in the sun rays and then holds in the resulting heat. Okay. Humans are causing average global temperature to rise at an unprecedented rate. Earth was warmed by an average of 0.11 Fahrenheit per decade since 1850, or about 2% in total. If yearly emissions continue to increase as rapidly as they have since 2000, climate models project that the end of the century global temperature will be between 2.7 Fahrenheit warmer than the 1901 through 1960, and possibly much as 7.9 Fahrenheit warmer, which would be catastrophic to human civilization. What the So that's why it's important. Okay.
Thirdly, the EU is committed to protecting fundamental human rights, such as the right of freedom of expression, privacy, and non-discrimination. For example, the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, where companies must obtain users' consent before collecting and using their personal data.
America don't give a fuck. America do not care about that. They can see everything you do. Everything. Even if they ask you, can you see it? They're going to put it in the fine print when you buy the phone, probably. Or when you buy the phone company line or something like that. They're going to put it in there. No one reads the table of contents. Continents. No one reads that. All right. No one reads the fine print. Everybody just hits scroll down and click yes, accept. That's all you do. I know. All right. So they probably put it in there. Probably they could really put it at the first line. If you buy this phone, we will take 100% of your personal data, and we would never read it. No cap. So America definitely takes our. I already know they can look at anything we're doing.
Companies.
They're probably already watching us. They literally listening to our phones. There's no way I'd be having a conversation with somebody about how I want to buy some new Jordans or I want to buy some new clothes, and then I get on Instagram and now I'm seeing ads about Jordans and clothes. Or it could be something random. I could be on the phone like, man, I need some Starbucks. I don't even drink Starbucks. But now I'm getting ads about Starbucks on my phone. I never typed it in. I never did anything. I'm on the phone. You feel me? They're definitely tracking our phone calls. We know that much. we know that. Like, bro.
Must obtain users' consent before collecting and using their personal data. So who controls the EU? This is complicated, as the European Union has no official single leader, but is instead broken down into 7 institutions that share power.
Okay.
The 3 main ones are the European Commission, the European Parliament, and the European Council, each with a different leader. However, the president of the European Commission...
Another thing about America is we never had a woman president. We never had it. All right, and I feel like that's I don't know. I forgot the word. Somebody help me out here. I forgot the word. But basically, we're putting down women, and we're basically saying that a woman cannot be a leader, which is not true at all, right? And you see how the EU have multiple women in power over the whole country, over the whole continent. They have power over them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure they're doing an amazing job, or they wouldn't be the leader. You know what I'm saying? So you see how America can't get nothing right. Nothing right, bro.
Is the closest candidate to a leader of the EU, as they stand at the head of the ship, driving EU legislation and representing the EU on the international stage. Currently, this is Ursula von der Leyen. In conclusion, the EU is important, as it allows European countries to collectively wield more influence on the global stage, particularly in relation to major powers such as China, Russia, and the United States. And so, while many different aspects contribute to what makes up the European Union, it all comes down to one idea: working together towards creating a better future for Europe's citizens. This channel is all about the EU, so if you want more educational videos about institutions...
Alright, I do mess with this channel. We definitely gonna react to some more channels, or more videos from this channel. Let me know in the comments any other videos you want me to react to. I love y'all. Oh, y'all.